So we're going to have some fun this session. It's always fun with SharePoint, but it's particularly fun this time talking about search. And I'm glad to be here again with Waldek. And as I said, this is between you and the party tonight, and we want you to help us building this session. So there will not be a lot of slides. We will instead focus on what you can do with search. And most of the demos here are stuff that you will be able to download right now, actually. They're on GitHub, most of the demos. You can just download that and install in your own on-premises farm or your SharePoint Online tenant and use directly without any modifications almost.
Yeah.
And yes, my name is Wictor Wilén. I'm a group manager at Avanade. I've been working with SharePoint for quite some time. And here's my friend, Waldek.
My name is Waldek. I am developer at Avention in the Netherlands. I am SharePoint MVP for 7 years, and I work a little with search.
So, these are the stuff we're trying to cover in this session. We will talk about the results block, how we can promote results and modify the search experience. The refiners, which are on the left-hand side, so you can refine your search results. Display templates, and that display templates, I think Matthew had a session on that.
Yes.
The other day. But there's a HTML and JavaScript weird thing that you create the UI for the search experience. And the refiners and also hover panels are made out of the display templates. We will take a little bit about apps for SharePoint, apps for Office, Azure apps, and mobile apps. But it's all up to you.
So basically, you can tap into search in all those places, yeah. Right? So that's where search comes up, and that's exactly the places that you can tweak to extend the experience.
Yeah, exactly. And we thought we would do like this instead. Instead of us choosing stuff to demo, we want you to choose what you want to see. So we have a menu of demos here. And we'll try to do as many of them as we can. So just scream loud, what do you want to see? Do you have any favorites so far?
Hover panels with Office graphs.
Yeah, that's a good start. That's a good start.
So you're putting me to work. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So as we said, that one of the places that you have where you can extend search are the panels. So whenever you search, you would, for example, look for HR. So, and that was new in SharePoint 2013, right? That the idea was to make results more actionable and less than few blue links. So the idea is that whenever you hover over a result, you will get a panel on the right-hand side. And here, one thing that we did, for example, if you look for a site that doesn't really look that great because it doesn't fit on a screen. If I zoom it out, let me check that. Yeah, I will have to reload the page. Yeah, because it's all baked based on the size of the page. So let us reload, project my screen. Yep, have to go away. And then, if it's all fine, you will see more info about the site that we found. So all of that is being showed in a panel, and out of the box, you will get only this image. So you will see the image of the site that search found. However, what you can do is you can extend it. You can do, that's all JavaScript, and it's up to you to do things with that, so you can stick with what you get out of the box, or you can extend it. And that's exactly what we done here. So here you see Office graph cards, or Delve-like cards, with info from the Office graph. So we thought that whenever you search for a site, how would you know that site is the site that you are after? Well, there is the image, but that image only tells you about how the site looks like. It doesn't tell you anything about what's in a site. So we thought, what if we could extend that info with info from the Office graph, showing you trending documents in that site, giving you a better idea what's in the site. So with that, we built the mini cards, because the big Delve cards wouldn't really fit here in a panel, or you would get only one. So we built mini cards with a little less info than what you get in Delve, but actually that's exactly the same info as what you would get in Delve. So you will get trending documents in this site. And the way this works is, it is JavaScript. So can you see all of the text in the back, guys? Yep, thank you. So here we have the hover panel with Office Graph. And there is basically, we include, where is that? Those mouse, yeah.
Yep.
That doesn't work. That's awkward, yeah. Yeah, so let me just expand that. So there is the CSS to brand it, so to have those links shown as cards. And then there's the HTML, so that's the file here, and that's the whole template, which is a really large file. It's really big thing. I'm on Mac since
Control minus.
recently. Control minus, yeah, I surfaced that. That's not my thing. Yeah, so here, all the way down, so here we have included an HTML block, right? So this block here is exactly the place in the panel when the cards are being shown. So this is this spot. And what you see here is a spinner initially. So there is image saying that things will load because that's Ajax call, right? We don't have that info up front. We have to do additional call to Office Graph to get that from the graph. Yep. So for example, if we would take another site that we haven't shown yet, there it is, can you see the spinner? No, let me reload it. I want to show you the spinner. There you go, there it is, yeah, so here is the spinner. Yeah, it was there. It was very fast, but it was there. I mean, the clouds are good.
Yeah, the cloud is fast.
Yeah, the cloud is fast. So with that we define a place in the panel where we want to show the cards. So next, we have to go all the way down, and there we actually said that we load some scripts, we load our CSS, we get some additional definition, but here all the way down is actually the hook that actually executes that call to the Office Graph whenever that panel is shown. So for every single site, every single time the panel is shown for that site, we do additional or separate call, right? We don't get everything at once. And here, do you have any experience with the Office Graph? No, not at all? So currently, the API that you have to call is API based on top of search. So we do here a search REST call where we add some additional info to call the Office Graph. And here is a rendering, which is not really interesting part, but the interesting part is the call to the Office Graph, which is here. And if you know a little about how the Office Graph works, it allows you to get info around actor. Actor is a user. If you want to get trending info of a site, there is no user there, right? So how do you do that? Well, the way we work around that aspect is that we get list of members of the site. For those users, we turn them into actors, and then we get content trending around them. So that's the way we work around it. And based on that, and that list can be huge, right? So you can have really a lot of users in a site, and if we would just stuck all of that into a GET call in Ajax, that URL might be too long. So depending on a browser, it might work, or it could break. So in order to work around that, we issue a post call to search. So whenever you query search, you can do either GET or POST through REST. And with POST, you can send as much as you want. While with GET, you're limited to the length of URL that's supported in browser. So yes?
Will that affect the performance?
So will the difference between the GET and the POST call affect performance of the call? I don't know. I would suspect not. No. But I didn't Azure it, so I don't know.
No, I don't think so, but it's a good question.
Yeah.
It's more, we're in the cloud, it's infinite scale, you know?
Yeah. So here, basically, what we do, as long as they work, they are there.
It's not our servers.
Yeah. So here what we do, we get info from graph, we parse that, and we build collection of cards, which we then push all the way back to UI. Any questions about that?
So there's quite a lot of JavaScript in here, and most of that are actually building the cards.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
So you build the cards using JavaScript, and you dynamically load the CSS.
Yes, because there is no, so you want this to work, right? So for that to style the cards, we need CSS. And we could include them in a template, but we chose to have them separately because you might want to reuse the cards elsewhere. So you want to have the same UIs as separated from a template. So with that, we put it in separate place, and we have to load that on demand whenever we load the panel for the first time, and that's precisely what we do all the way up. It was there. It was scrolling, navigating JavaScript files is a challenge to say the least. So there was. There's a script and there is the styles here. There you go. So here we load CSS. We add that to the head part of the page, and with that we enable them for this panel.
Yeah. So if I have this HTML file and the CSS file, how do I add that to my own tenant or own search?
Yes. Yes. So once you get those, what you have to do is you have to enable them in your site. So the way you do that is you go to search settings of your site.
You have to use the other browser, Garth.
Where's Garth? Was it that one?
Yeah.
So you go to, and you have to go to search site, because is it? Yeah, it's here. So that's another site collection. So you go to site settings of your site, then you go to the search results types. I get?
Yeah.
Right. There you go. Just check. Yeah, I had the idea that you didn't really pay attention. So here we have created a new result type that we tie to a hover. So here is all the way down. Let's say you would have out of the box, you would have the site. Is it somewhere here? Yes. So what you would do, you would click on this. You would set copy. The cloud was fast. We jinxed it. And here, all the way down, you could say that you could choose the template.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that's basically the way.
And you
do
upload
that.
the template is uploaded using the design manager.
Yes.
As
Yeah. So that's the way you put
well.
it.
Or yeah, master.
So
page
is this
gatherer.
a thing that you would use in your own environment? How many of you are on-prem? How many of you are in a cloud? Prem?
On-prem.
You wouldn't be able to use
Yeah.
it. Sorry.
This is
Office Graph.
SharePoint Online only. But you can add other stuff there. It doesn't have to be Office Graph.
Yes. So the idea is that you can extend the panels with additional info
Yep.
that you can load via Ajax, so it doesn't have negative impact on that result page.
What we actually did for one customer is that they have project sites, and in each project site they need to have an Excel document with some project details. And there's a chart, named chart in that Excel file. So we read that chart image from using the Excel service and showed that in the hover panel card so they could see the status of the project, or the rundown chart, so to say.
Yeah.
That's typical things you can do. So let's go back to the menu.
You can hide the notes.
Yeah. Any other ideas of stuff you want to see?
Mark.
Targeted news. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
That's him. Very good.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that you often get when you do stuff with SharePoint 2013 and you are building new things, and everything has to be built on top of search. How do I personalize that result? How do I target results to a specific set of users, etc.? So, and that's really, really easy to do. I created a new site here. First of all, I'm going to say I'm not the UX designer, so it's SharePoint Blue and a couple of images. This is a standard web page with two content by search web parts, basically. So I'm logged in this browser as Garth. Why doesn't it work? Strange. And here's another site, logged in with another user. And it's the same page, but showing me different news. depending on the news below here should almost be the same, but the news on top should definitely be different because we have different profile properties. We're basing this on user profile property on how to show the different news articles. So, and by going to edit page, we can take a look at the content by search web parts. So this is the thing that you actually can do with just clicking. There's no JavaScript or some magic stuff happening. So if we click edit web part, and change the query, and let it load. Then we can see down here that we have, first of all, getting all the news from this site only, using a specific content type. Then I also have a target department, which is a metadata field on the news content type. So what I did was, at the news content type, I added a new field, called it the target department, and that's mapped to the managed metadata, which is the same as you use in the user profile when you let's take that later. But basically, it's mapped to the same metadata that you use when you configure your profile property. So in this case, I use a built-in property in the content by search web part, bracket user.department and bracket, and that would get the value of the user profile property of the department. And I also have all the news that are targeted to the non-target department. So that's a very easy way to do that. And the other property is all other departments except the one that I'm currently in. So if we go to site settings and take a look at manage metadata, how that's built. Oh, we have to be Garth to do that. I was Garth.
You are Garth.
Yeah. Oh, it should be admin. Okay, sorry. What we've done actually is that we have the managed metadata for the user profile property department, and I created a new taxonomy group and just linked, pinned those terms from the property and added a new term called none. That's how I built that structure for the targeted news. So you can use that one. But the key thing here is that this is something that I've seen specs for a couple of 100 hours to build targeted news, and this is something that you can build in 5 minutes just using the out-of-the-box things. And this works on-premise and in the cloud as well.
Yeah. So is this a thing that you guys would use in your intranets to get better news, more targeted news?
And basically, you could combine this with Office Graph as well in the future.
Yes, sure.
And do even better targeted news. So that was a short demo. There's some short and long ones in this one. So any other suggestions?
Mark. Oh, sorry, yeah. Site directory, there you go.
Yeah, let's take a short one between them because that's a long one. That's a good. I would like to see the weather forecast.
You would like to see Oh, that's gonna be fun. Yeah. So imagine, probably every day when you wake up, you go to work, you wonder, will it rain? Well, in London, probably it will the way it does in Holland, but it might just be the case that it won't, right? So the weather, how do you find out the weather? You could just type, where was it? Where did you put it? You call me to do stuff, and we just search. So what if you could search, what is the weather in London? And SharePoint search would come up with an answer any moment now.
Power of the cloud.
Yeah.
There's no weather here.
It's just like this, works every single time except now.
Try with Garth. Might be a permission issue.
We might have permission issue. There you go. Search. Let's try here. Any moment now. So, as I was saying, how about weather in London?
There is no weather.
There is a query, but there is an That sucks. So you were supposed to see a weather, nice image with sun, temperature.
Oh, there it is.
You were supposed to see that. Don't touch it.
No.
You were supposed to see this. Questions? Yeah. You could, for example, ask yourself what the weather is in Slough. That's one name of a place nearby I remember. There you go. But what if we could do more with that? So is this cool so far? Include that in search? So SharePoint knows who you are, what you do, and perhaps even where you live. Well, it knows at least where you work. So why wouldn't you just ask him, what is the weather at office? And because it knows where you work, it can get that from your user profile office
property.
Yeah, and include that in search. So it can be intelligent. You could as well say weather at home. So based on that, you can have personalized search based on who you are and what you do and where you work. So the way this works is we have created a query rule right here in search that...
Is it too small? Let's zoom in a bit.
Yeah. Where's the plus? I'm looking at a Swedish keyboard.
Yeah.
There is no plus. Plus is like there. Like, and there is, we want to have the local SharePoint result. Oh, no, that one. And there is the weather rule. And basically what it does is that... Do we know jokes?
No. We don't do
jokes?
that.
Yeah. So basically what it does is that whenever it sees that someone searched for the weather, which is here, it's going to include additional promoted block, which is here. And if we edit that, you will be able to see that we basically, what we do is that we include an iframe in a page. In a search result page, we include an iframe to a page that shows the weather. And we pass the query to that page. But that does not work on its own. You have to do additional tweak to pass the query into the iframe. So you do that by editing the item best bet template. And that was on your blog, right?
Yep.
So there is an article by him that explained this step by step. And basically what you have to do is you have to include the isVBB variable that's going to tell the page that it is a visual best bet. It will get URL, and it will replace this with a query, which is included in the CTX current item parent table reference variable properties query modification. There you go.
Yeah, it's easy to remember.
And then, yes, you have to memorize all that. We will ask you all those kind of questions at party.
Yeah. To get into the party.
Yes, and then there's also an iframe rendering here. Is it on the top or is it on the bottom?
Search 5.
That's here, yes. So here we also change the URL because originally that's something else there, and we have to change that URL to point to our new URL that includes a query.
Yeah.
So with those two, we can now call that page, and what that page does is we have it here. That's basically a regular ASPX page that we have built that calls a service from, I believe that's Yahoo Weather. It's simple weather.js. That's basically a script that we got from internet that allows us to call into service on the internet to get the weather for a place. And then we do some additional tweaking here. So for example, whenever we see that you look for query for home or office, we will get those parameters replaced by the name of the place that belongs to you, and we use that in query instead. So that's the way it works.
the key thing here is the item best bet to change that so we can actually pass parameters from the result block into the iframe, which by default cannot do.
Any questions about it?
So you can do basically what you want in that iframe. You can call into other systems or whatever. This works on-prem and on the cloud.
Yes, this works everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So, sorry, we should go here. Let's take the site directory then. It's a little bit bigger.
I'm going to take it.
I try to cover that fairly quickly, but the idea is that most of you people have a lot of sites in SharePoint Online or on-prem. This works for both. Let's go to search. And you're searching for HR, for instance, again. You want to find sites about HR or whatever you want to. We created a new vertical here, or horizontal, in this search center that only shows you sites. And here we've done two modifications, basically. First of all, we customized the template so we can see different tags on the different sites. But we also modified the refiners over here, so we get a tag cloud of the different sites. So if I search for all the sites, for instance, with the star, here's all the sites in the tag cloud. And as you can see, HR is very popular here. They have 6 sites. But also, you can directly see here what kind of site it is. So for instance, if I want to see all the HR sites, I click on that one, and we get a new tag cloud with those 6 sites. And we can also find the HR and employee sites. So that way I can work down and drill down and find the correct project site or what I'm trying to find. And this is actually enabled by using the web property bag on the websites. So injecting properties at each web, and I'm telling SharePoint Search that we need to index these properties. And then I'm just mapped them to 3 different managed properties and create a refiner from that. We don't have time to look through all the code, but everything of this is up on GitHub, and later this week it will be linked from my blog as well. But the key thing here, let's take a look at the site first. How do we get the tags there? If you're going to the employee sites, we have a thing here in the upper right-hand corner called site tags. And when I click on that one, I can add or edit the different tags. Of course, this is very simple. It's just a text field this time, but you could connect that to manage metadata and have those properties or drop-down boxes or whatever you want in there. And then it takes 10, 15 minutes or 6 hours in SharePoint Online to get this updated so the crawler runs.
So how did you get that button there?
Let's start with that. Okay, good. The first thing, it's all JavaScript here, the site tags. For each site, I actually ran a small script, each site collection, sorry. So here's a very small script. I just opened the JavaScript debugger in Chrome, in this case, and ran this one in each site collection. But you can run the same using PowerShell or using an app or whatever. But I'd registered 2 custom actions, one with the JavaScript file that I use and also jQuery. So I insert a script link into the site collection. So it's very easy. So just copy and paste this code. Of course, this files has to be uploaded in the site collection. Then I open up the debugger in Internet Explorer or Chrome and pasted that into the console window and clicked enter. So then it was registered. But in real world, of course, you put this into a PowerShell or deployment script or something like that. So you inject that on each new site collection created. So what happens in the site tags? So let's start from the bottom. There's a couple of things here to make it work in both with and without minimal download strategy. But the key thing is that we run the init method. That's up on the top here. Scroll back all the way top. There's a lot of code in here as well. And I use this script on demand features and make sure that the callout.js feature is loaded, because that's the callout we get when we click on site tag. So I wait for that JavaScript file to be loaded. And once that file is loaded, I create some HTML. Of course, I check some permissions. I get the launch point, which is that tag. And then I create the callout. We're not going into that. There's another blog post on my blog about that. But basically, a callout is a JavaScript object that's in a SharePoint JavaScript object you create to do the callout. add some actions to the callout. And the most important action is the on-click callback for save tags. Sorry, let's scroll sideways. And here's the magic of everything. So what I'm doing is I'm actually looking for the VTI underscore index property keys and make sure to get that property, because that's a property that contains the name of the properties in your property bag that will be indexed. So you put the property in a name value in the name value collection, and all the names must be stored in this property. So I go through all my tags, but here's another thing: I need to base 64 encode these names. I can't just put the tag names in. Yes.
Sorry, just were those weird characters supposed to be at the string at the top of the file? There's a JavaScript.
Yes. You mean that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a totally different thing, but the script on demand, I put it like this. If I built the script on demand thing, I wouldn't build it like Microsoft did. But it has to be like that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's for SharePoint Online. If you do it on-prem, you just need to have the callouts.js thing, but for SharePoint Online, because they're using a content delivery network in SharePoint Online. And that string has to match what they injected with from the beginning, so you have to copy-paste that. Yeah, that's just how it is.
So you will have to know that /u O to F is actually a slash.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that at the policy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but you
That's a
can
good one.
use other JavaScript frameworks to make sure that files are loaded. Yeah, absolutely. So I need to base 64 encode all my name of my property keys here. So base 64 encode them, a pipe character, and base 64 encode and pipe character. So that's what I'm doing. That's why it's a lot of JavaScript down below here, because there's base 64 encoding in JavaScript isn't, yeah, it's not the most funniest code I've ever written. That's how I can say. The next thing we need to do actually is, when let's store those properties in there. So we save that one. But another thing that's really, really important, the SharePoint crawler doesn't crawl your site if you just update the web properties. You need to do something else on the site. So what you actually do is there's another property called VTI underscore search version. So you increment that, that's an integer, so increment that value all the time. And that's what the SharePoint crawler is looking at when it sees the site. Did this value change? If it changed, it goes through and repopulates, recrawls that site. So that's the steps you do. You need to base 64 encode your keys. You store them in the VTI index property keys property, and then increase this VTI underscore search version. Anybody knows what the VTI stands for? Yeah, good one. Vermeer Technologies.
Yeah.
This was the company Microsoft acquired that built Front Page many, many years ago. Still lives with us. We never get rid of Front Page. So there's a couple of other things here. As I said, when SharePoint picks this up, my properties, it will actually be 3 crawl properties. So I need to map those crawl properties to managed properties, so I can use that in the search. The key thing here is that this only works on a tenant level. You cannot work with the crawl properties and managed properties on the site collection level in this case, when we're talking about the properties on webs. So you need to do that on a tenant level or a search center level, a search application level. And basically what you do is you go in and map that to those crawl properties to managed properties, or you create an XML file like this. You don't
type
that.
all of that by yourself, because
No.
that's what we do, right?
You don't handcraft that, but this is an easy way to do it. Since I have named all my all the properties already, and they're down here. Let's scroll a bit. So what I do is actually we have site tag, 2 and 3, and 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, these are the 3 crawl properties that I have. So I just exported everything and took away all other nonsense. But this file is only my 3 crawl properties, and also and also the managed properties down below here. But why did I do this? Just so when I come to a new tenant and will use the same solution, I can just import this configuration. I don't have to do this mapping by myself. And also, I've noticed when I was building out this, all the properties doesn't appear directly. It can take, it took me 24 hours before the second property, the site tag 2, before that actually appeared.
I guess it can take in SharePoint Online up to a week, right?
Yeah,
Until,
because you have to run a full crawl to get these things into here. So that's why if you use this one, then you get to crawl properties directly. That's a good tip. Then we have two more things. We have a display template for the actual result, which is very simple. I added just the tags in here. Oh, one thing first. What we actually did was adding manage properties. Where is it? Site tag here. I told this display template to actually include the site tags into this display template so I can use it. And then down below here, I just wrote out all the tags. The tag cloud is fairly similar. The tag cloud is also a display template. The refiner, so just it's in JavaScript and HTML file. And in this one, I created some logic how to make them in different sizes, etc. And just write them out. For each overall, the different variables, different tags, and write them out. But this is, to get this to work, all you need to do is upload these two files into your Search Center. You need to import the search configuration. You need to upload the JS file into to each site collection or to the CDN or whatever you prefer to have it, and then register the two script links into the two different script links into each site collection. Then it should all work. I'm aiming at writing a longer blog post on how to do this and have it published. Not very shortly. That's it. Another conference coming up soon as well. As soon as possible, without promises.
Almost.
Yeah. There's only one thing that's actually missing in here. I don't want to show the site tags. I need to have a read-only interface if you're an end user. So currently you get an access denied if you try to save. If a normal end user tries to save it. That's the only issue I have right now. Otherwise, it's fully functional.
Is it cool? Yep.
Okay, let's see if we have any other cool demos.
Mark, you have to pick one. Instant search.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Excellent. That's a very good choice, sir. Because it's first. It's on yes. So whenever we search out of the box, the out of the box experience is you have search box, you type, and then you go to another page. There are results. What if you could do this differently and get results more instantly? Instant search. So how about you could do this? Let us go to the root of our portal. Is it here? Yeah. So here we have the search box, the way it is out of the box. And normally when you would type, it wouldn't do anything. You would click the icon on the right and it would search. That's the way it works out of the box. Look at this. Ta-da! In instant search. I only typed a query and it's search. So I can immediately get results, and there's a chance that one of those might be exactly the thing that I'm after. To spread the risk and increase the chance that the right thing is there, we include recent documents, people, trending documents, site documents, and you can do all kinds of things. I mean, you're limited by your own tenant. You can search through LOB. You can search through anything that makes sense. Is this appealing? Is this cool? Is it something you would use?
Yeah. And this is more smarter than a normal instant search, which just do the searching.
Yes.
Here we're using Office Graph to get some stuff.
Yes, for different things, we're using different approaches to get that out. So the way this works is, first of all, in a page, we include a number of lines of script to reference everything that we need for this. That's the instant search here. and here we have the first part of the page. So we have CSS to render this, and we tap on the jQuery UI autocomplete widget. So we use that. Then we have on this line. Why don't you have line numbers? So this line is our own script, the logic that we need to have in place to render it, to get the data. So what we do there is, out of the box, if you use the jQuery autocomplete UI widget, it's just a flat list. It does not allow you to have groups. So you wouldn't be able to do, and now I have to search for something else just to prove you that it's working. There you go. So it wouldn't allow you to have groups. So it would be like a long list of everything. So in order to have groups, we tweaked it a bit, so we extended it. We called it a cat complete because that's category complete. And we build that, and we add additional support for groups. So that's all of that, and that's the rendering. That's not the most interesting part. Nevertheless, it is there. You need it if you want to have this experience. Then we hook it up with the text box on a page, so with the search box. So it means that anytime you search, it's going to extend behavior and it's going to show the list. And then we hook up the search event. So that's the source of a widget, so the list of stuff that is going to show. And then on a click, it should just load that item, right? Because it's search, so you have to go to that thing that you found. So no matter if it's a my site, your a site document, anything, just go to that href, because that would be exactly the same what you would have in search. As for search, we do a lot of things. We search for, as I said, we search for recent documents, people, trending documents, sites, and more. And based on the stuff that we find, we add them to widget to that list. The way this works is just a really big script. So here we have the search for sites, search for people, search for groups. Those are the modern groups, but we don't have any groups here. So that's the reason they don't appear here. But if we had, you would also have groups in that list. We have search for documents, search in my recent documents, and search in trending documents, and the last two are based on the Office graph. So you wouldn't be able to use those on-prem, but the rest, you could. And we build it as a promise, because otherwise there would be a lot of callbacks trying to sync the queries, result, get everything together. So what we basically do is we fire them all up, and when they are all done, we get results in one function, and we get them back. And we get those sites, people, and groups, and the rest in exactly the order in which we called functions. So sites is first here, and what we get are sites. People, number 2, people, number 2. And so on. So that's really easy way to chain a number of calls and to get them into one result back. So then, basically what we do is we build up the whole list. So we iterate through those arrays, so through site, people, and groups, and we just parse search so we get results, and that's how we built the whole list. So that's just what happened. Yes, so here is exactly how we build those sections, right? So just for every group, we do exactly the same. And there is probably another way to do that, because that's a lot of editor inheritance, copy-paste.
Yeah, TypeScript.
Yes. Well, the trick is that different groups might have different info. Yeah. So there might be another way to get that. So for example, if you search for a group, title of a group might be called name. So that's not really, there might be groups that are different than other groups, right? So you might try to optimize that, but that's just the easy thing that just works. So we thought instead of being clever, let's be clear about this. That's the easy way to do that. And then, so before we can do that, there are the different calls that we execute, and those are all out-of-the-box SharePoint search REST calls. And those are all GETs, because they are short, right? So there is no payload that we send. So it's really short, and we can do it via GET. And that's shorter, that's simpler. So here we look for sites, which is the content class, STS site, STS web. And we get only 2 of them. We search for people, and that's people search. So that's the source ID, this GUID, which is always the same. So if you would like to, and you find it appealing, you could learn it by heart. I mean, that's exactly the same GUID that we had for the team side feature that was the OOBF. No.
007FBE.
Exactly. Then we search for groups, and that's basically web template is group. That's the way you can get groups. We search for documents, and we chose approach to call it is document equals or :1. There it is. We search for my recent documents, and that's a little more extended because that's Office Graph. So here we search for the tags, and then we extend it with, so we want to have Word docs, we want to have Excel sheet, PowerPoint docs, PDFs, and then we want to have stuff that I have viewed, which is Action 1001, or edited, which is this. So with those 2 guys, we can query the Office Graph.
That's a question.
Yes, sure.
Is there an issue if you're going to get a large set of search results? Because presumably it's firing off based on typing keystrokes. It's going to be potentially fire off multiple.
Yes, so to optimize it, so the question is, would there be an issue, or is there a chance to get an issue if we would fire too many calls? Because whenever you type, there's a call. Yes, theoretically there would be an issue, and the widget, the jQuery UI autocomplete, allows you to configure delay, which we have not done here, and we just accepted the basic setting, which is 300 milliseconds or so. So with that, you could wait. You could build there. Pause.
Yeah, but potentially you're firing away a lot of queries all the time. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried in this case. Just take a look at the Office Graph. It's hammering the query servers. So in this, I don't think this will impact.
And I
much.
guess we are in a cloud that scales, right?
Yeah,
So
infinite scale.
if things break, not our problem.
It's not a problem.
Yeah, so I guess that's exactly why we only request 2 items for each set. And then we also have trending documents, which is the actor.me, which is the easiest query graph, and we just show or gets everything trending around me.
Yeah.
So with those, we were able to get that experience. Would it be a thing that you would include in your own intranets? Hands up. I see a lot of hands. Yes. Very good. Mark, you wouldn't? Or you already have it?
Okay, any other demos? Otherwise, I would like to show you.
We have 7 more minutes.
We do. And I'm trying to get this one to work.
Yeah, you worked a lot to get it done. You were typing the account name.
Yeah, exactly. I have to show this one.
Yeah, it has to work.
So.
Yeah. How many of you tried to search on a phone? What do you think the out-of-the-box experience is?
Yeah.
Why? It sucks.
Yeah.
Well,
basically, it's a search center.
Yes, it's exactly what you see on a full screen on laptop, but then on your phone. That's like really tiny. You have to have really small fingers and good eyes to use that. Yeah, so it's not really optimized for phones. That's not really a thing you would use. because it just doesn't work. And given the fact that more and more phones are being used, we thought like there has to be a better way to use search. So we built the mobile, you want to show mobile search, mobile people search?
Mobile search.
It's all fine, yeah. So that's the app that we built that allows you to really easily search in your portal. So as you can see, my lovely assistant is typing the search queries.
The code monkey.
And there you go. So you can really easily find stuff. And when you scroll all the way down, we also thought that you should be able to get the results easily, so it has infinite scroll. So it will just add additional sets as you go. We think that you probably won't need to go all the way down because your search just works brilliantly and you will find the results right on the top. But should you find the need to scroll, you can do that really easily.
Infinite scroll with the star.
Yes.
See how far we can come.
Yes. So this app is available in a store. It's free. It's a SharePoint hosted app. You can install it now for free. It's built in Knockout. So we use that to template stuff. And basically, it's just Bootstrap-based UI so that it adapts easily to your phone, tablet, anything. And we execute search calls through REST. Does that make sense? Knockout, Bootstrap, SharePoint hosted app, free. Install it now.
Yeah, and here's the people search.
Yeah, and that's another app that we have built. So how many of you tried to search for people on your phone? No, I did it once, and then I built that app.
So
yes.
yeah, you can click on any user, and it's directly connected to the phone as well, and you can call them.
Or email.
Yeah.
So that's just really easy way to find folks, to contact them through on your phone.
Yeah.
And also that app is available for free in a store. It's also Knockout.js app, Bootstrap UI, SharePoint hosted app.
Cool. That's a great app.
We have time, I guess, for one more.
We do. Do we have any more ideas?
Better people search. There you go.
Yeah, it's you again.
Yeah, it's me again. Sorry, man. Is there anything that you have on the list?
No. Go ahead.
Calculator. So whenever you search for people out of the box, you find them, but there's not really that much you can do. I mean, the actionable part, we found it limited. So what if we could do more? So do we have search somewhere here? No, there's no search. Doesn't matter. Let us go to the search site. And I picked, on purpose, the site with the longest URL. Why on earth? There you go. So we go to search, and here we would, for example, search for people involved with marketing. So initially we'll go to everything. We want to go to people. And then there's the list, and then what? So out of the box, you will get info here about the project experience, basically everything that they share. But that doesn't really tell you more about a person, right? So what if you could change that experience? Let me zoom out a little and reload so more things will fit on a screen. So what if we could change that experience and add some more info that's available to us? So for example, this girl, we can tap into the office graph and to get info about who is she working with, or what is she working on now. So we can get better idea. If we have appointment with her or anything, we know more about what she does now. And then here, additionally, we include actions to IM her or email her. And then additional link that isn't there because she doesn't have any phone in her profile. But if she had phone number there, you would be able to call her. No, there's not a single one that has.
Like Garth. Okay.
Yeah. So that's another approach that you can use. And I guess there were other people. Yeah, so like here, you'll get all of the stuff that you get out of the box, like skills, projects, interests, schools. And then on top of that, you will get the more dynamic info about what they are doing now. So you can use for that the Delph-like cards and an office graph. But also if you would, for example, have HR system or anything else, you could tap into that as well. And the way this works is it's exactly the same example that you have seen with the sites. And the only thing that we have done here more are the actions. So here, you're able to IM or email, and those are the actions that we have added here. So let me just go all the way down here, because that's the whole display template showing everything you want to know about a person. And that should be, here are the actions. So here is the call, which you don't see because there are the has phone is false. But there is email, which basically is the SIP address and then L2 link. And then there is the IM link, which is exactly the same address, but then through SIP. So with that, you would be able to launch link directly from that action. Is it cool? Is it nice? Would you use that in your own internet?
So to sum it up, we have 1 more minute. Then I guess all of you want to run away and drink beer. To sum it up, we've done a couple of customizations here. Most of them are HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. There's no server-side code whatsoever so far, and almost everything can be done in SharePoint on-prem as well, except the Office Graph queries. Downside with that, most of our demos actually use this Office Graph just to get more relevancy out of the documents, etc. But you could basically change that to normal SharePoint query to retrieve documents, etc., and have the normal ranking or modified, order by modified, etc.
Yeah, so you'll probably all go now, and in an hour or so we will go to the party. So you probably want to know how's the weather there. How about we ask Serge? So how about we ask Serge to tell us what the weather is at Evo? There you go. Party time.
Okay, thank you.